There's one principle in recovery that I think is absolutely vital, one of the most important principles for a couple in recovery. And it's this. It's the realization that you are not your spouse's Messiah. You cannot fix your spouse. Your spouse cannot fix you. And I learned that the hard way. Samantha and I, man, we tore each other apart thinking that we were going to be the ones that fixed each other. And there was a time where I was really upset. And I had the ability to have a meeting with Rick over the phone. And I'll never forget, he said, well, tell me what's going on. And I just aired it out, right? I mean, I let it all out. And there was this long pause. And if you've ever had time with Rick or came to an EMS weekend, there's lots of long pauses. And you don't know, what's he doing? Is he even paying attention? And he was super quiet. And I said, Rick, talk to me. And he said, I just am marveling at how you think you're going to fix Samantha. And I went silent. He goes, Samuel. And I said, yes. He goes, do you understand what you're doing? I said, no. He said, you are trying to show Samantha how wrong she is. You're trying to fix her, and you can't even fix yourself. You are so convoluted. You think you know what is the right thing to do, when let me remind you, you've been living a double life for 2.5 years. You've been justifying your affair for 2.5 years. You've been unhealthy at the very least, right? And I said, sheepishly, yes. And he said, now, let me win you back to, middle ground here. Yeah, Samantha is traumatized. She's gone through an incredible amount of betrayal. She's not thinking clearly. She floods emotionally, sometimes every day. She got mad at me the other day, Samuel, because I told her something that she didn't like. She's not in her right mind either. You have got to stop trying to fix each other. It knocked me on my butt, because I was still pretty self-absorbed, still pretty prideful, still felt like I know the answers. If Samantha will just do this, 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 and this, and this, and maybe this, 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 and this, we'll never have any issues. Everything will be fine. The affair wouldn't have happened in the first place. So unwise. And true to the fact that Samantha, she felt like if you would just do this, this, and this, we would have never been here in the first place. We wouldn't have lost everything, and we would be able to put this behind us and move forward. It was a dark time, but we had both believed the lie that we had each other's answers. We knew what each other needed to do, and if we just do it, this wouldn't be so hard. We had a huge blind spot. Now, this isn't easy to absorb. No one likes to be told that they're incapable of something. It knocks you on your butt like Rick knocked me on my butt. But, let me do the math for you. If you're an unfaithful, listen, you've been living a double life, or you've been struggling with an addiction, or you've found it okay for you to completely demolish your vows, do what you probably said you would never do, and go outside your marriage. You've completely gridlocked the single most important relationship in your life, but yet you, in your infinite wisdom, think that you have the answers. Now, betrayed, let me kind of be direct with you. You've just experienced the greatest trauma probably of your life. You have just had your whole life ripped out from underneath you. You're traumatized, you're flooding, you're dealing with 80 to 100, sometimes 130 thoughts a day, reminders and triggers and intrusive thoughts. You probably feel alienated and helpless at some level, or devastated, or maybe you're trying to think clearly and you're not as traumatized, but yet your spouse has had either multiple or one affair, and your life has been rocked. To think that you have the answers is a bit ambitious too, because you're swallowed in pain and hurt and confusion. There's a lot of agony going on. I don't think that you have the answers. Let me make it even more clear for you. You have been married, I don't know, let's use 20 years as just an example. It's a little bit more realistic. 10 years, okay? For 10 years, you've been in this marriage dance. You have lost objectivity. If you're an unfaithful, when you're talking to your betrayed spouse, all they're hearing is noise, or all they're hearing is, well, you're a cheater, so you're justifying your cheating, and you've saw fit to have an affair, and you've lived a double life, and you've done all these things. They're not hearing the objective nature of what you're saying. Now, if you are betrayed, trying to communicate to your unfaithful, all the unfaithful is hearing is, well, you just don't get it, and if you'd have paid attention to me, and if you wouldn't have ignored me, and all you do is justify your behavior, and you just won't get over it anyway, and you're just a whack job freaking out, you just need to get over it and stop harping on it, and maybe we could get back to life. All you're doing is adding to the frustration. You're compounding the process. I did it the same way. I, looking back, really regret the fact that I thought I had the answers. If I'd have just surrendered, and if I'd have just admitted my incompetence at the time, and if I had stopped trying to fix Samantha, I'm convinced I would have probably removed about 40% of unnecessary frustration, anger, and hostility. I want to tell you today, you cannot fix your spouse. So what do you do then? What's the answer? Well, you got to get expert help. And the immediate retort sometimes is, Samuel, expert help is expensive. I know. I get it. So here's some options. Go on the website. File for a scholarship to any program at all. Number 2, join the recovery library on the website that's like $30 a month and go through that a month at a time and see if it's not worth it. There's so much help there for you. So number 1, get an expert involved. Number 2 is surrender. Surrender to the fact that you can't fix each other and that you need to stop trying and that you can really barely fix yourself and really focus on yourself. And leave your spouse, if you're a believer, to God. If you're not a believer, let your spouse work on themselves without you trying to fix them or be their Messiah. Number 3, find a safe place. Find a safe therapist. Find a safe environment. A safe place will not take sides. A safe place will not tell you, the betrayed, to get over it. A safe place will not tell you to hurry up and heal. A safe place will not tell you, the unfaithful, well, I'd have cheated anyway. A safe place will not justify your affair. A safe place will say, here's what we need to do. Here's a process-oriented approach that's going to help you find out if the marriage can be saved.